Hey yo, what's up everybody? It's your boy Christian back with another video. And as you can see, I got a special guest right here.
Hello.
And today I just wanted to bring him on because we're going to touch on a subject today that I feel needs to be talked about. Um,
You should probably
but
point out first, though, what we're going to say, it's not to offend, it's just personal opinion, okay? Just for clarity.
it's not to offend anyone. It's just personal opinion. And also it's just to spread awareness out there.
Just throwing that out there, because what we're going to be talking about is a very heavy topic.
Exactly. And so, I mean, I want to apologize real quick if there is still anyone who gets offended by this. Um, anyways, so today actually I had someone from my job who passed away. Um, his name is Brian, and unfortunately, he passed away due to a brain aneurysm in his head that just all of a sudden just popped, and he never woke up. Um, so at this moment, I would like to do a moment of silence, starting now. Thank you. So I just want to point that out. I did that out of respect to him and his parents. His parents actually asked me to do it. Um, and today, though, um, I want to touch on a subject today that has a little bit to do with, again, a heavy subject, which is racism. There's unfortunately a lot of that right now in this world where, what I think as human beings, we need to stop labeling people as white, as black, as Hispanic, and we need to,
This goes on for a while.
and, and, and stop looking at skin color and start looking at each other as one.
It is kind of interesting when that's brought up. Um, I know Christian actually, unlike me, Christian actually does kind of plan out what specifically to say when it comes to this stuff. For me specifically, it's normally just go into it. I know the topic I'm going to say, but I try to avoid topics like this just because of how sensitive they can be. But Christian, you bring that up, and it actually does make me think. Like, unfortunately, it has gotten to a point where even people of their own race will of their own will be racist against their own race to a point where it's just like I'm starting to get the feeling like it's more just like self confidence being drained or something, which is kind of saddening to see.
Yeah. And also, I agree with him 100%, but I think that, you know what, I know I may get a lot of backlash for this, but one thing I'm going to say is that, you know what, again, I like the idea of Black Lives Matter, but let's forget about that right now. I understand there's a lot of stuff going right there right now. Um, last time I touched on this issue, there was a lot of saying, "Oh, but what about Black Lives Matter? What about Black Lives Matter?"
Yeah,
Right now, I understand there's an issue going on there, but you know what? Let's go. And I actually want to talk to, I want to talk about something that should never be said in a workplace. So I have been made aware by many sources, YouTube sources, one of them being Caitlin Bennett from Liberty Hangout. Um, basically, they proved that there has been uh, jobs that have been saying, uh, why can't a person be less white?
I've never
Why?
heard that phrase before, actually.
Why? Okay, my question to them is, why do you have to bring race into it? Why?
I wonder though for that kind of. I've actually heard that statement before, but and some people do expand on the idea a bit too much. This might partially answer like what is being talked about here. When people say stuff like that, and I'm clarifying this for him because I'm hearing what he had to say firsthand. Like
Yeah,
as I said before, I always go into things just whatever fits the topic and comes to my mind is kind of what approaches it. So if this does alter what you originally coined to script out, I apologize. But a lot of the time when I do hear things like this, it's usually they're referring to like stereotypes, which doesn't support any kind of statement that these people say because when people in that front, if what I'm thinking is the case, the phrase like say it is the case, I don't know, because many people have different reasons for this kind of thing. If it is the case that they're going off of a stereotype, it doesn't benefit their mindset at all for the purpose that a lot of the time when you think of white people stereotypes, you actually do think of racism for one. For another thing, because that's a big stereotype within my community. Coming from a white boy, I would know. But a couple other things is just like stereotypes, like the nerd stereotype, where everyone talks like this and knows everything about every subject that everybody hates.
all right, Daffy Duck.
That's not Daffy Duck. That, but or like the stereotype, like teenage girl, all those very well known stereotypes core on like films that a lot of white people are in. So when ever hear that, I'm like, why are you referring to stereotypes? That doesn't make us any better.
No,
But apparently it benefits the mind of others because I've heard the same thing with what he's talking about before, and it just makes it makes the person saying it sound dumber.
yeah,
Why should you be more white? Really, I'd rather be like the smart black guy over there than be a white person like this. I've actually heard someone say that. That's why I said that.
yeah. And in all honesty, I think that um, I really want to do stand up for my friend here and for any person who is white out there.
As we said at the beginning of
Okay,
this, what we're saying, it's not meant to offend anybody. It's
no,
just
it's
based
not.
off of what a lot of people are doing
I
nowadays.
have most of my friends are white. Okay,
This is
I'm not.
actually true.
I'm not white. I'm Hispanic,
Because we
but
we do have a friend group, and three of them are white, and then there's him, who's, as he said, Hispanic, and
and part black as well.
that's true. That's very true.
But I personally want to stand up for all my white friends out there. You know what? There's nothing wrong with being white. There's nothing wrong with being Hispanic, black, you name it.
Yeah,
Okay. To race shame someone is 100% wrong. And that is something I will never, ever, ever stand for. Okay.
it is kind of saddening to see that kind of thing, especially since, like, when you look at history, it has caused wars. That kind of thing has caused wars, and that yet people still do it.
And, I mean, just because you're black or you're white or you're Hispanic doesn't mean you have the superior race. We are one children under God. We are one nation under God.
And it is something to keep. It is very that's something to keep in mind because I don't know how often you do this on this channel. I don't do it ever on my channel out of respect towards those who aren't like who view my channel who aren't what we are, which is LDS or more commonly known as Mormon, I guess. Um, is like looking back at like references to like Book of Mormon, Pearl of Great Price, Doctrine and Covenants, Bible, stuff like that, but talking about this actually does make me think of like different scenarios that come from actually each individual one of those. Like this is a kind of like pride. This is a constant that has a tendency to happen. I mean, they're called the seven deadly sins for a reason.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like they should be eight in racism. should be no like 9 or 10. Racism being another, sexism being another, and culturalism being another.
Yeah. And that being said, I really also um want to say here real quick that I personally love all people. And it should not matter about the color of someone's skin ever. Should not matter of who they love, or it should not matter about where they come from. Because to me, I know there are certain people that do watch my channel that may disagree with me on this, but that's okay.
It's unfortunate. There are always people on this platform who do have a tendency to lash out and disagree to things like this. Because I mean, because you and I are just saying stuff, as we've said twice already. We're just saying this out of the goodness of our hearts, not to hurt anyone,
Oh,
not to create another basically, what was it, the Civil War that it's caused?
yeah,
Yeah, not to create another one of those or anything. It's just more like what we think about it, like out of respect towards those who are getting harmed by this, and like referring back to the whole Black Lives Matter thing. I agree with you when you say that it is a big deal, but the issue with that is more that when people go, a lot of people who are actually racist to a degree, and they follow the Black Lives Matter thing, any other race brought up, and they're just like, "No!" And they'll get, like, frustrated over it, which is just pathetic because it's not just black
yeah.
and white. The world isn't just black and white, and this is a very common phrase. It's not just black and white, it has several different colors to it. It's kind of pathetic how people have a tendency to look at just black and white and then subside everything else.
And I have said this in my one of my other videos as well. Um, but there's a quote, and I will be quoting one of my favorite rappers of all time, Tupac Shakur, and he basically said at the end of one of his songs called "Changes," which is an incredible song. And if you know that song, you know what I'm talking about. But what a poet he was. Um, he basically said at the end, let's change the way we eat, let's change the way we treat each other, and let's change the way we live. Okay. I really think that 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 statement right there speaks volumes. Because you know what? This guy right here is my brother, man. Always. And it doesn't matter what color of skin he has. Because to me, he will always be my brother.
And it goes both ways. I mean, we've known each other for about 2 years now, right?
3 years.
3,
But
wow.
yeah.
Memory sucks. But
But you know what? I'm grateful to have met him. He has helped me with so much. Yeah, we have our differences, but to me that doesn't matter.
for every individual, there will always be hiccups. But when people bring on hiccups like what this topic was originally supposed to be about, that's when it kind of goes a bit too far. Like, if you're gonna hate on someone for and like just pin some specific people, and I've seen this happen over the internet over like the smallest of things, and it's retarded. When it comes to like this kind of stuff, like riots have gone down within the past couple of years just because of race and like the whole. Okay, mine's going blank. Give me a sec. Let me use my phone for reference because I'm an idiot and can't remember names.
That's okay.
Actually, but it'll.
But I want to say, while he's looking that up, I do want to say this: Condoleezza Rice, Martin Luther King,
George Floyd. That's the name I was looking
yes, George George Floyd. I do believe he was wrong. Part of it, not all of it, but wrongfully killed.
for. I mean, he
Um,
like I don't I what I was originally going to say, man, is just that particular circumstance when it was going down. I'm like, this is. I mean, it's a big deal, yes, but it was more the way I would have approached it is more. Yeah, he was speaking his rights. He was doing what he had the right to do, and he was killed for it. maybe it wasn't the smartest thing to say, but being killed for it was not the right answer.
Yeah. Um, so I actually do agree with that. He should not have not been killed. Should he have been taken to jail? Yes.
Yeah,
But he should have not been killed. So I that for that reason right there, I do believe that yes, he did something wrong. He should have not been killed.
that's
And there should and there and I'm very glad that there was justice. So that being said,
yeah,
Rosa Parks,
that's another really good example, actually.
Martin Luther King, when these people went and they marched and they demonstrated and they protested for me, for him, and for all of you watching. When Martin Luther King had a dream, he did not have a dream about one race being superior. What he had a dream about is he had a dream about everyone getting along, where a black boy can go around the streets without being harassed. A white man can go around the streets without being harassed. A Hispanic man, the same thing. It doesn't matter. Race does not matter. And I will emphasize on that. Race does not matter. And for those of you who say the any for those of you, whether you're black, white, Hispanic, I will call out each and every one of you. If you decide to say that your race is superior than another one, then stop it. There's no room in this world for that. And I pray that your heart may change. I pray that this world may be able to be healed from people from these type of people.
I think the better idea for that, man, just I agree with what you were saying. Don't get me wrong. It's kind of saddening how many people are doing this, but rather than, I think the way I would have thought of it is more just the idea of rather than ridding it of the people itself, maybe just like help them.
Yeah.
Because as I said at the beginning of this, I've noticed that a lot of the time, when this kind of thing has a tendency to happen, someone's hurting because of some randomized reason. Sometimes they're just looking for something to lash out at. And sometimes it's more violent than others, but I think I do agree that maybe metaphorically with what if you change what you said to like a metaphorical statement, like kept the same wording but used it metaphorically, then I definitely agree. It's just it feels like this world is just lashing out at itself more and more as time goes on. And race, unfortunately, is taking one of the bigger tolls on it.
So one last thing I wanted to say is that, in my opinion, businesses need to stop saying or going and saying, you know what, hey, this person needs to be less white so that there can be more diversity.
I've heard
Okay,
it both ways, and honestly,
and
just this
the
business is less or more any kind of race is just a stupid statement to say, period.
I personally I cannot personally in my heart give me 1 second, guys. I'll be right
That
back.
was interesting.
Yeah,
Anyway,
just a random Facebook call. Anyways, so I'm gonna close this video out, but before I do, I just want to say this: May we treat each other better. May we love more, and may we forgive more. That is something that I am willing to fight for. And that is something I have my First Amendment right to have my freedom of speech, to go and to stand for this. And this is something that I choose to stand for. This is something that's important to me and to a lot of other people.
I think for those who are like, just to kind of add a little bit more support to the statement, this is one, and again, I'm not very, I'm not the kind of person to make scriptural references very often, but for something like this kind of topic, it gets heavy enough to where holding a reference like that can at least ease the mind a bit. Wonder if you can name the reference. Doctrine and Covenants 64 verses 9 through 11.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I don't have it memorized, but I do always have it on me.
So yeah, no, this will be the final thing, and then we're probably gonna close out because it's already a 20-minute video.
Which is saying something.
But yeah, guys, while he's looking for that, um, I actually I want to. He's a YouTuber here. If you do not know that already, his YouTuber name is Nostalgic Dave. His YouTube channel will be in the description below. Go check him out. We're at 148, correct?
uh, yeah, at the moment, which
100, 148 subscribers. Let's get him to 150
you
because
know, I
once that happens, he is going to be doing a pretty crazy challenge. I'm not going to say what it is because you guys are going to have to go on his channel to
let's yeah,
find out.
you can find out two different ways if you're not subbed to the channel yet. Go over to the channel, look through the comments on the different videos. You'll figure it out pretty quickly if they're recent videos. Otherwise, you'll have to find out once we hit 150.
Yeah, he only not talks about life things, but he's also a gamer. So for those of you who like games, go check him out.
More accurately, I do talk about stuff like this, but like today, I'm trying to be very lenient on what I say. But I do talk about personal life stuff like this. I'll rant about random things, but as well as the gaming stuff, more for a comedic version purpose than anything else. Or,
Yeah.
firsthand reaction like this guy's making me do for God of War PS4.
God of War is a great game.
Tough, but it is a really good game.
Yeah.
Also, if you're wanting to read it, you can.
Okay, so what verse?
9 through 11.
Yeah. So this is Doctrine and Covenants 64, 9 through 11.
For those of you who are not LDS or Mormon, this is just more an enlightening thing. Take it that way. But
Yeah, this is added scripture from the Book of Mormon. Anyways, wherefore I say unto you that ye ought to forgive one another, for he forgiveth not his brother, he trespasses, setteth, commended before the Lord. For there remaineth in him the greater sin. I, the Lord, will forgive whom I will forgive, but of you it is required to forgive all men. And ye ought to say in your hearts, let God judge between me and thee, and reward thee according to thy deeds. God is the only one that can judge. So that is why I personally try to forgive all men.
it's scriptures like that that make people like Christian and I friends, like we are, or like brothers, we should say.
Yeah. No,
Stuff
we're
like
not
that.
friends, we're brothers.
Yeah, that's why I corrected myself.
Yeah. And I mean, but yeah. Anyways, guys, I hope everyone is having a good day. I look forward to hearing from you guys in the comments down below.
Try to keep it clean and kind if you can. If you disagree, just put a thumbs down, but please don't say anything harsh.
Speak your mind, just be kind.
Yeah.
That's all I ask. Anyways, guys, please do me a favor. Like this video, share this video if you know anyone that may need to hear this. And also, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Right now, we're on our way to 1,000 subscribers. I know I'm still about almost 700 away, but 750 subscribers away from 1,000. But you know what? At the end of the day, I know we can do it.
Every little bit counts, and he's on his way.
And you know what? I am so grateful for each and every one of you guys. Please join the family. Uh, I am I will be extremely grateful for each and every one of you guys. Anyways, guys, may God bless you guys and much love. Peace.
See you guys later.